Welcome to everyone for the final ZoomFormation call of this 23-24 Rotary year. Great to have you here once again. So, great video, by the way, all about the value we give our members. I love the comparison to Rotary buffets as well. Rotary to buffets, and my trousers are showing I've been doing too many Rotary buffets over the past few months. And of course, July 1st will be a new regime to me, not least a strict regime that Michelle will be putting me on, getting me back in shape again. So we've got a great show planned for you today. We're going to learn more about the plans for next year, including some reflections on the Singapore Convention, of course, which has just gone. A special mention, by the way, to past District Governor Haresh, there for doing such an excellent job stepping up as MC for the whole show. And also for past District Governor Cam Chandler and his team, and PDG Mack and his sergeants for delivering such a well-organized and fun Southland breakfast there. For those who didn't go, ask about the face changes. It was a real Singapore treat. We'll hear more about Singapore later, as well as about the up-and-coming Pittsburgh Summit, next year's convention in Calgary, and an update on the amazing Empowering Girls initiative from Dawn. So a great show planned as a last show this year. As you heard, we're making a change and closing out session with an open mic approach. Ask the directors. So as Art says, don't pull any punches. I'll tell you exactly what Patrick won't want to hear. And by the way, Chris, just get ready with the remove attendee button at that point in time. No, I'm joking. Use the mute one instead. But really what I wanted to do today was an unashamed thank you to everybody. And I'm cognizant in doing so that I really can't name everyone personally. And even though I prefer to, and it's also dangerous to do this because I'm bound to miss someone else. But even so, I'm going to try. Firstly, I want to thank our amazing coordinator team, the regional coordinators, the Rotary coordinators, Terry and Mike, and their assistant Rotary coordinator teams. Mike's done an amazing job this year and is handing over to past District Governor Mary Ligon, who I'm sure we're doing a similarly amazing one next year onwards. And Terry in Zone 33, great job, of course, and continue to do that. Our regional Rotary Foundation coordinators, Sandra Hempstead and Lorraine Angelino, and their ARFC teams, thanks also. You've been working hard on building the foundation right the way through this past year. And we know Lorraine is sunsetting her position as a coordinator at the end of June, along with myself, and she'll be talking a little bit more later on who she's going to be handed over to, Bernie Rydell. Bernie Riddell, welcome on board, and you're going to do an amazing job as well, we all know. Our Polio Now coordinators teams, ably assisted by Vice Chair globally, Robert Hall. Thanks to Kim Waters, who served an extended 4-year term. She's going to be phasing out of that. Obviously the other members of the team, great job for all that work on polio. I know we've had a few more cases recently, so we're just going to have to continue to focus on that and really take it over the line in the next couple of years. On the giving side of it, the major giving side of it, our EMGAs, Beth Trotter and Dave Rout, working so closely with our Rotary Foundation major gift officers, including Deborah Lowe in Zone 34 and others across the zones, and of course at Rotary International. Thank you for all the work you've done. We have really made some great directions, I think, and your work at the summit, I think, was really appreciated. We can really build on that going forward. Our RPICs, Billy Black and Susan Corder, and their ARPIC teams, great to see how you've been working closely together collaboratively, as all our teams have. But I think you've shown that really the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, and we really are better when working together as one. I know you've learned a lot from each other. I think that's a great model moving forward for our teams. And in no place has this proved more so than with our regional plan teams. And we've literally, and I'm so proud of this, led the world in building and rolling out our regional plans, which have now actually been adopted by Rotary International as a best practice globally. And of course, our regional coordinators and their teams play an essential part in making these plans happen. So starting with our MAP team, who's been ably chaired by that other Scots Rotarian, PDG George Robertson Burnett, supported by Vice Chair PDG Chris Jones. We have a team of almost 60 players working on that program, and that's an amazing commitment. And you've seen them working on the MAP plan, including the MAP ambassadors in both zones. And we also have an executive team that meets weekly to drive the monthly webinars, the Membership Success Center, and the other resources that we're providing. And once again, we're starting to see the green shoots of success in relation to our membership action plan. Last year, zones 33 and 34 were number 1 and 2, respectively, in North America, the membership growth. And this year, it's looking like zone 33 will be number 1 this time. Zone 34 will be number 1 this time, and zone 33 not too far behind in the number 3 position currently. You still have time to creep up to number 2 or maybe even number 1, zone 33. So we'll see what we can do in the coming few days. So well done there. We've been building momentum. I'm really excited about what we're going to be able to do under Rotary International Director Patrick's leadership next year in terms of membership growth, and some amazing work happening. Thank you so much for your commitment as we move forward and what you've done this year. I remember we are in a membership organization that delivers amazing service. So the more we grow, the reason we're doing this is that we want to build quality members into our organization, bring those Rotarians that are out there in the community that don't know they're Rotarians yet in, so that they can really experience the amazing opportunities that Rotary is going to give them to be Rotarians and create greater impact across the world and within our communities. I'd also like to thank Regional Membership Officer Jose Gonzalez for his tremendous support, both generally of our districts and also for the MAP program across our zones this year. And of course, the other 2 plans that we're developing who are coming forward now, and Sandra Henstead and RC Sandra, and our FRAP, Foundational Regional Action Plan team, have been working hard on building that team, as has Marshall Butler and his CAP Communications Action Plan team. So thank you so much for the commitment you put in. And I'm really looking forward to, as I know is Patrick and the Rotary world, to see great things from both of these plans, in fact, all 3 of these plans moving forward. And of course, these plans wouldn't be nowhere if it wasn't for the buy-in and support from our amazing classes of district governors, the captains this year, and their district teams, and of course, President Gordon R. McAnally's class of presidents at club level, who it wouldn't happen if it didn't happen in the clubs with you. And you've delivered by creating hope in this world, in that community once again this year. And as I said, our plans are leading to the green shoots of success right the way through the Rotary world, right the way down to our communities with our clubs. And also, I'd like to congratulate the work the Irresistibles team has done on planning for next year. And they're going to have an amazing year under, of course, President Stephanie. But it would be remiss of me also if I didn't thank some of my mentors and friends who provided personally me and our zones teams with such great support and service, not only over the past 2 years, but also the many years where they've served. Past Rotary International directors and presidents, such as past RA President, Trustee Chair Barry, who'll be stepping back after almost 7 years of leadership for the very of our organization. Barry is one of our own. We're so proud of the work that Barry's done, and he's been a great supporter, I know, of all of us as we move forward through our Rotary experiences and our Rotary journeys. Also, our paired trustee, past Rotary International Director, Larry Lunsford, who spent probably more time in our zones than he has in his own. Larry, we didn't quite tackle the US $200 per capita annual fund giving goal yet, but I'm sure Rotary International Director Patrick will have that on his radar next year. I'd also like to thank past Rotary directors from our zones, Peter Kyle, David Stovall, Robert Hall, and our Robert's here, John Smarge, and of course our very own past director, and as I mentioned, incoming RI President Stephanie, who's been amazingly supportive of me personally and all of us as we move forward, as I said, through our Rotary journeys. And I know, wish her all the best as she takes on the leadership of our amazing organization, bringing that very special magic that she possesses to the role. I would also like to thank, and he was mentioned earlier, past RA President John Jerm for being a regular attendee. And although he's not officially a Zone 33-34er, he is definitely one of our key ZoomFormationers, and we love having you here, John. We consider you one of us. Thanks for being such a regular attendee and guest with us. And talking about ZoomFormations, a very big thank you to the tech and production team behind it all. Those that have put this amazing monthly calls, including Chris Justice, Sean Paddy, and the graphics team as they've been needed. Thank you for doing such an amazing job pulling these together. And last but not least, 2 of my closest Rotary friends and mentors, and at least they were at the start of the 2-year term as director. I'm not quite sure if that still continues, but we'll find out on July 1st. First, I guess my sister is the best way to put her, the chair of Rotary International Strategic Planning Committee, chair of Handwash's board, but more importantly, the general chair of what I believe are 2 of the best Rotary International Zone Summit that have been ever put together across the Rotary world. And I'd like to thank her and her whole team, and you know who you are, and I'm not going to mention you all now, for a massive thank you, and that's past District Governor Cindy Cumberland. Cindy, thank you so much for your support. And last but not least, and you'll know who I mean when I start talking about this, the man behind the curtain, the puppet master, the guy who pulls all the strings, the power behind the throne, if you like, the man who made it happen, and any other of a long list of hyperboles you might wish to choose. None other than my Chief of Staff, the Folletley Challenge, Art McQueen. You're an absolute star. Thank you so much for everything you've done for Rotary over the years, and for me personally over this past 2 years. I really, really couldn't have done it without you. And Michelle wants to give you a great big hug because she says you're the only thing that makes me reasonable in the circumstances. So lastly, I'd also like to thank one more person that I'm really done, and if I've left anyone out, as I said, I apologize. And I believe he'll go down as one of the best presidents Rotary International has ever seen. And he was the one that was crazy enough to risk appointing me and a long line of successful Rotary International Executive Committee chairs. And that's our president, Gordon. I've had the pleasure and honor of working exceptionally closely with a man I've got to know as being one of the fairest men, most honest men, I believe, in Rotary and in the world. One with a great sense of humor, a great taste for that amber nectar that George Robertson Burnett loves so much. And someone who's really taken the bull by the horns, checked his ego at the door, and has acted, and I believe, what will be shown to be the best interest of Rotary's long-term success by ensuring that he has made changes alongside, thankfully, myself as being part of it, to make sure that we recognize that Rotary needs to be more regionally adapted. One size doesn't fit all. Recognizing that we needed to align and simplify our goals as an organization at all levels, thus ensuring far better continuity from year to year. These initiatives, I'm sure, will build a stronger platform for better experiences for our members, for growth, not only in places that have been growing recently, but in those places that have been struggling. And also, most importantly, for impact service in our communities and better experiences, as I said, for all of our members across the Rotary world. So I just want to leave by saying a big thank you to everybody, and none least for the person I'm going to introduce next. Your incoming Rotary International Director, my successor, a great friend, an amazing Rotarian, a passionate speaker, a guy with a questionable sense of humor, but amazing hairline, none other than Patrick Eakes. Patrick, over to you. Welcome. I'm relieved you're here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. And let me be the first of, I'm sure, scores of people to thank you. You've been so good to support all of our leaders across our zones. You've just spent the last several minutes thanking so many people appropriately, but you deserve great thanks. You have been an incredible servant to zones 33 and 34. You have been a distinguished leader on our Rotary International Board. Your not only your service as the executive committee chair, but beyond that, leading the greater movement of this shift toward looking at regionally adaptive practices. You originally led our membership action plan here, which I think served as the test case for how these regionally adaptive plans work so well. And that showed in the numbers last year for our membership growth. And finally, just on a personal basis, you've been incredibly generous to me in helping me prepare to succeed you, whether that was letting me know the direction of the board, whether that was conferring on various recommendations for positions, or just generally being supportive and giving me a peek behind the curtain at how all of this works. You have been just incredibly generous to me. And as I said, a great servant, not only to the Rotarians of zones 33 and 34, but of the entire world. So I will be the first to offer my applause to you. And I know, although I can't see everybody right now, that there are others applauding for you as well. Thank you, my friend. You have earned a break, maybe a time on the beach with Michelle and a couple of cool drinks, but make it a quick break because we'll be putting you back to work soon. Looking forward to 2024-25, you heard Jeremy talk about continuity of leadership as an important topic. And because he and I have worked together so much over the last 18 months, you will see very little change in terms of our priorities. We have worked together during the time Jeremy has been director, and those priorities will continue going forward. So first off, we will be continuing ZoomFormation calls. So we'll be getting the band back together every month. We'll give you a break from July 1st, which is right toward a holiday in the United States, and get back together July 8th next month. You will continue to hear us talk about continuity of leadership. Hopefully, what Jeremy and I, this handoff is a good demonstration of the need for that, but more importantly, we hope that we see that type of best practice put into play at the district and at the club level. The importance of having a unified direction, not zigzagging, and that means getting predecessors and current leaders and upcoming leaders together to have consensus on where we're going and what makes the best sense for our clubs and our districts and for Rotary International. So we hope that we will see more practice at the club and district level in that area. And to reinforce that, you'll be hearing more about 3-year rolling goals. So these will be goals that are looking not at my year or a particular person's year. We really want to get out of that mindset and think about longer term goals, because it's hard to get a lot done in 1 year, but with a unified direction and continuity of leadership, it's relatively easy to get a lot done over multi-years. So you'll hear much more about that. And to reinforce the reaching of those goals, as Jeremy said, you'll continue to have as a great resource the membership action plan, the Foundation Regional Action Plan, which has been very actively planning, and you will see much more from them soon. And then the same with our Communications Action Plan that you'll see a lot more from coming up. So very excited to have the opportunity to serve on the Rotary International Board and to represent all of you. And I appreciate the support to this point and the support that I know I can count on going forward, because it really is an opportunity to represent all of you in the boardroom, as well as for me to share with you where the organization is going. So I do want to introduce a couple of key leaders. There will be many more over the coming ZoomFormation calls, but as Art McQueen bows out as Chief of Staff, I want to introduce Cookie Billings. Cookie is from District 7690 and is a member of the Downtown Greensboro Rotary Club, same district as me. And Cookie will be serving as Chief of Staff. She and Art and Jeremy are all classmates. Their president dubbed them first class, and from everything I've seen from those governors, that it's an apt tag for those governors. They're absolutely first class. Cookie and I have been friends since we met, best I can remember, in April of 2001, and have the opportunity to work together in so many different venues and so many different ways and roles over the last 2+ decades. So very excited that Cookie will be moving into Chief of Staff. She is not follically challenged like Art, but you will see much more of Cookie in the next 2 years.
Patrick, so I am much kinder than Art, so
I think everybody just assumed that. Everybody who knows Art. So thank you, Cookie, in advance for all of your work. And next, I'd like to introduce Alex Wilkins. Alex is a member of the Sea Island Rotary Club in District 7770, the Low Country of South Carolina. And Alex is our, in addition to being a great friend, and with whom I've worked like Cookie for a long time in a lot of different ways, Alex is the general chair of our Zone Summit this fall. That'll be in Pittsburgh. So, Alex, I'm gonna hand it over to you to share with folks what we have planned for this fall.
Thanks, Patrick. I appreciate it very much. Hello again, everybody. We are excited. Sean's going to throw another slide up behind me and show you some items. But we're headed to Pittsburgh, and I certainly hope y'all can go with us. We've got, I'm not going to quote dates and things to you, but they're on the screen here. If you take a shot of the QR code, it'll take you directly to this website. If you lose track, you can go to our RI Zones 3334 website and find this under the heading events. So let me talk about 4 key elements that we're focusing on this year. First, and to me, most importantly, a deliberate emphasis on the value and the capabilities of our PDGs. We were all the G, the E, the N at some point, and you came home absolutely full of information and you passed it. We have tried that in these last years, and if you have slipped away from attendance, you're missing the opportunity as a PDG to come and fill your cup and take it home because you are still relevant. We're putting that to the test in Pittsburgh. Please, if you haven't come recently as a PDG, come and visit us in Pittsburgh. Join us. The deliberate emphasis on your value and your capabilities, and they will be shown to your district after Pittsburgh. That's the first point. The second one is a celebration of our own President Stephanie. Enough said. Third one, an awareness and a collaboration with the University of Pittsburgh as we celebrate World Polio Day, which is the Thursday of the week we're up there. And past President John Germ, on the call with us today, has already graciously accepted an invitation to come and help us with that event. And as important, a hands-on service project to represent our opportunity to get our hands dirty in Pittsburgh. We're going to build beds for local children that don't have a bed to sleep on. And you might be familiar with Sleep in Heavenly Peace. If you are not, this QR code will take you to this portion of the website as well. Audacious challenge to raise $25,000. That's 100 beds. And we will do our very best to work and build 100 beds. We'll pass those off to the local Sleep in Heavenly Peace team, and they'll be able to deliver these beds that we make to local children that are sleeping on the floor or the couch or a pile of dirty clothes. Join us in Pittsburgh. We're looking forward to a great time. Thank you very much.
Alex, thank you so much. You and the executive committee have worked so hard preparing for Pittsburgh. We still have a few months to go, but it's going to be a great show for you down there. It's a really unique opportunity to, especially with World Polio Day, right there in the city where the Salk vaccine was developed. Really, really incredible that all works out so well. Jeremy mentioned before that we're going to have some reflections from the recent Singapore convention. And we've asked a current district governor and an incoming district governor, one from each zone, to share with us their reflections. So first up will be Andre Mariah from the Rotary Club of Thomasville and the current district governor of District 6900. And before I turn her loose, I just want to tell you, she sang at the Rotary Foundation luncheon, and wow, 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 I had no idea of the voice inside of this special Rotarian. You were just amazing, Andre. So please take it away.
Thank you, Patrick, for that. And I must say that there's a saying that a leader is a servant unto the people. And certainly at this convention, I got a chance to serve. First of all, I'd like to thank District 6900 for the opportunity of being their governor and to represent them and Zone 34. I told you the experience was phenomenal. I did get a chance to perform, but I also got a chance to work. The last 2 international conventions, as a matter of fact. But I'd like to focus on 2 things. First of all, the House of Focus. That was an exceptional experience all the way around. This year, the International Convention focused on the people of impact and had their celebration at the District International Conference, and I believe this is going to be a standard. but also in the House of Friendship, I found myself there as a person of action for 23 and 24. I was really taken with that because now it seems that the International Convention will also focus on the people of impact, people of action, or how it is that the international president would like to focus that. In attending the foundation dinner for presidents, there were over 1,800 presidents and past presidents and folks there, and I got a chance to sing. Now, I tell you folks, that was a scary, scary situation. When you think you know something, you get up there and forget everything when you look at the people. But I thank our past international president. I thank Jeremy Hirsch and a couple of them who were standing up in the back waving so they could say, "Hey, Andre, we see you." So I had the report. I had the support from the gallery and I hope that I represented us well. And it's representing us. It's not about me. It's about us and the work that we do. And one thing that I would say that we do in our country is that we support each other and we do the work. We don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk as well. Also, a part of that was making sure that I attended some of the other functions there. The WASH program, I found it to be exceptionally well supported there. I got a chance to see quite a bit of things there with that. And I think that those things, the people of action, the people of not only the people of action, but the people of impact, and also knowing that that's going to be a part of it. I was also featured there as a part of the action plan. Again, that was a surprise because I was in a Rotary magazine. And I think that because of that, we talked about increasing our impact from diversity, equity, inclusion in membership, not just necessarily how we can do that, making sure that each club experience is of such that people feel comfortable regardless as to what walk of life, being seen. And as a part of that, I see you as an award that I gave out this year. So I thank all those for the opportunity to serve and to be a part of that. That was my experience. It was great. The fellowship with friends. Thank you to past International President Barry Rassin for asking me to be a part of this unique experience, I think. And I look forward to other services that I can provide the district as well as the international. I'd like at this time to pass it over to Brett Herback. Brett is the incoming district governor-elect from 7570, and tell them about what you experienced, Bert.
Oh, thank you very much, Andre. It's a pleasure to be here. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my experiences from the Singapore International Convention that marked my fourth convention attendance. And thank you to District 7570 for allowing me to represent you, as well as being the steward starting in July 1st of our district. This event was filled with impactful moments and themes that resonated deeply with me. One of those being something outside of the control of Rotary, but I had my 15-year-old son with me as well, and it was his first experience at that level of Rotary, to the point where the other day when we were driving home from Pittsburgh yesterday, he was able to even point out, "Oh, Dad, there's a Rotary meeting. There's a Rotary sign on the highway." So that was pretty awesome. But today I want to highlight a couple, 4 key themes that stood out personally to me and really resonated. One of those most impactful themes was the focus on peace. From the Peace Gardens and the Peace Polls and the House of Friendship to the inspiring talks by Peace Fellows, the convention emphasized the importance of peace and how Rotary is a big player in that on the world stage. And a highlight was learning more about the Peace Center in Istanbul, Turkey. The story, and I believe it was of a Turk and an Armenian friendship, particularly struck me. Despite the historical conflicts, Rotary has fostered friendships between these nations, between these people in these nations. And I think that just showcased the power of peace building that Rotary is involved with. Hearing from Jack Sim, the founder of the World Toilet Organization, was a powerful reminder of how essential basic sanitation is. And frankly, for a 15-year-old, hearing the word poop at an international convention was pretty exciting for him as well. But the talk emphasized that things we often take for granted, like toilets, are crucial for a healthy life. This session highlighted the importance of addressing fundamental needs to improve living conditions globally. And I was particularly inspired by the breakout session on the village savings groups. This initiative, in partnership with World Vision, aims to benefit around 60,000 Africans by providing financial literacy and saving opportunities. As I was seeking a global grant opportunity for economic and community development, this project stood out as a remarkable opportunity to make a significant impact. And during the breakout session, I actually emailed our chairman of our global grants to see if we have the funds available that I could volunteer and participate right there on the spot, which I think we do. And the need for membership growth was underscored by, I believe it was John Hugo's story about when he asked the president of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation why they decided to partner with the Rotary Foundation on polio eradication. And the answer was they chose Rotary because we don't have 1.2 million members on the ground. And it really drove home the reason why we need to grow this organization so we can continue to have partners like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation as others and do the impactful work on the ground to help the people in our communities. This anecdote powerfully illustrated the importance of expanding our membership to enhance our global impact. So the Singapore International Convention was a transformative experience. The focus on peace, the importance of basic sanitation, the potential of village savings groups, and the necessity of membership growth were key takeaways that will guide my future involvement with Rotary. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to implementing these insights in our continued effort to make a difference. Thank you for the opportunity, Patrick, Jeremy, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Brett. I was particularly excited to see you had your son with you in Singapore. My children have been attending conventions since they were 8 and 10, respectively, every couple of years, and it's always a highlight for them. And certainly their view of the world has largely been shaped by the opportunity to meet people from all over the world and to have a better understanding of their lives. So thank you both, Andre and Brett, for that report. We have another convention coming right around the corner, which will be in Calgary next year. And we're going to share with you a short video. And following the video, you will hear from 2 members of the 2025 Convention Promotions Committee. They are Renee Laws from the Rotary Club of Stafford, and she's the current governor in District 7610, and Dawn Rochelle, who is past governor of District 7730 and a member of the Rotary Club of Jacksonville. She's also an assistant Rotary Public Image Coordinator. So let's please roll the video, and then Dawn and Renee will share with us about Calgary.
There's something to our collective energy. When we gather each year, everyone belongs to something bigger than themselves. It is magnetic. It is moving. It is magic. We share friendship, experiences, and new perspectives, awakening inspiration, unleashing possibility in ourselves, our communities, and around the world. It's a phenomenon like no other. Join us in Calgary for the 2025 Rotary International Convention and discover magic all around.
Yahoo! We're here to invite you to the 2025 Rotary International Conference in Calgary. They told me I needed to wear a cowboy hat, but no one said it had to be white. I just want to say, you just heard 2 stories from people about why the Rotary International Conference is important. Dawn and I are working together as the Zone 34-33 team to promote this within the districts. But I think that you guys ought to use storytelling to talk about the reason people should attend the event. It's about experiencing another place, and it's about all the trappings of a vacation, but it is so much more than that. It's the relationships and the information. So Dawn and I are just pleased as punch to be part of this team. And I'm so excited to work with someone who has so much experience. And I'm really grateful to be here. And if you guys have any questions, as the information comes in, it'll be rolling out. Dawn, do you want to update them?
I do. So thank you so much for everybody being here. And, I think what Rotary Experiences Beyond the Club does for all of us is to create memories that we couldn't otherwise create ourselves. And so Sean will show you on the screen some of the pricing information. I know a lot of you in leadership, it's like, let's cut to the chase. What's the bottom line? Well, the first deadline, of course, we hope that a lot of you have already signed up. We're seeing the numbers come in, and we know that a lot of you took advantage of that. The next deadline will be here before we know it. And actually, we will start to be able to update you about that after July 1 when Rotary shares those numbers with Renee and I and the entire promotions team. In the chat, you're also going to have information that is going to take you to how you can access promotion materials for your district, but also know that Renee and I are right here. We're right alongside of you, and we'll also be doing communications thanks to being able to present occasionally on the ZoomFormation, but also know that we're available for your districts, your clubs, and whatever information that you need in order to promote Calgary. Of course, being in North America and also being the home zones to the Rotary International president in 24-25 is going to be quite the extraordinary experience. So we hope to see you in Calgary with the white hat. I'll turn it back to you, Patrick.
Sorry about that. Got a little off kilter there. So thank you both. I cannot wait for Calgary. I know for some people, the last two conventions have been pretty far away to get to, but Calgary is going to be accessible for all of us in zones 33 and 34. So I hope that you are already making plans to be there late in June of 2025. Next up, we're going to hear from my friend, past District Governor Tina Fischlin from District 6910, and she is going to give us an update on the Empowering Our Girls initiative. Go right ahead, Tina.
Thank you, Patrick. Hello, everyone. And many of you have heard that Rotary International will be sunsetting the Girls Empowerment Program as a presidential initiative. But wait a minute, we're not going anywhere. First of all, I, along with past District Governor Dawn Rochelle, Girls Empowerment Ambassador for Zone 33, and our entire team of deputy advocates, we would like to say thank you to Rotary International Director Jeremy and the entire zone leadership for giving us time at zone seminars, zone summits, and ZoomFormation calls like today. But a huge thank you goes out to our district advocates and club advocates at the work you have done to empower our girls through projects and programs that you have created or you have replicated. This initiative brought about new partnerships, new members, new projects, and even a new Rotary Club was created in 7730, the Rotary Club of Empowering Our Girls. While this presidential initiative began in 2021-2022, it brought much needed galvanization to help all of us leverage new partnerships, scale existing projects, and create calls to action for our girls. Your work to highlight the needs and challenges of our girls has been inspiring. So what's next? We are not finished. After 3 years of tremendous work to educate, equip, and empower our girls through our clubs and our districts, the work is being transitioned to continue into the next phase to form a Rotary Action Group for empowering our girls. A core group is doing our due diligence to discern the work that already exists in established groups and other fellowships, along with the requirements to charter and the requirements to make sure we have a long-term sustainability. We have collectively amassed and produced a tremendous amount of work since this initiative started in 2021, and that will continue to live on in zones 33 and 34 website. I'll put that in the chat. Or maybe our tech guru, Sean Patty, will put it in the chat for us, who is also on our team. Stay tuned for more information regarding next steps to form a Rotary Action Group for empowering girls. We will need your participation and your continued commitment to empowering our girls. Thank you so much, everyone. Jeremy, back to you.
Thanks so much, Tina and Dawn, for the excellent work you've done, really building this. I've been working really closely with Elizabeth Yusevich, who was the global champion for empowering girls. And I know how highly she speaks of both of you. And once again, zones 33 and 34 leading the way in relation to our global influence on Rotary's programs. And just a side note, you'll see the decision there the board took, and I was part of that, to move the presidential initiative into a Rotary action group. And going forward, that's going to be the direction we are going to tend to take. What it does is it really guarantees the continuity of these programs, of these initiatives, these important ones, and allows them to really grow from strength to strength. So thanks once again, and I think it's really exciting. We've got a RAG coming up, which is going to focus on empowering girls, such an important area, and look forward to that to be in the way we go in the future with various opportunities and initiatives, including President Gordon's one of mental well-being, which will also fall and continue under the Rotary Action Group that's focused on that. So now, as I mentioned earlier, we're talking about transition and continuity, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce my first classmate, as was mentioned earlier, Lorraine Angelino. Lorraine, who's our current RRFC, is going to thank and talk about what's been going on and what's going to be going on with her team moving forward. Lorraine, over to you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Well, I'd first like to thank my team. We've been together for 3 years now, and Patty Meehan, Newman Aguilar, Lance Young, Terry Mathias, and Juanita Cawley, and Nancy Barbie. Lance has served 2 years and will continue on next year, as well as our new RFC, which will be Bernie Rydell. The past 3 years, we've done tremendous things with the foundation, mostly because of the club presidents, the district governors. We can't do contributions to the Rotary Foundation on our own. It takes the whole zone. We've been 2 years ago, we were top in the top 5 in all 5 categories, and we did hit the 215 per capita, which was exciting. Since then, we have not hit it, but we are getting close each year. And I am very happy with our numbers this year, as well as how we're doing. We have definitely picked up on the number of $1 million events, which we have helped. The team has helped get those going. And in the first year after COVID, during COVID, we actually had 5 in 1 year, which was really great. So I'd like to thank my team for everything that they've done. And I look forward to seeing what the team will do next year. Thank you. Back to you, Jeremy.
Thanks, Lorraine. Thanks for the amazing job you did, as with all the outgoing coordinators. Thank you so much for that commitment. And I know you're going to be involved in the Foundation Regional Action Plan moving forward. And I'm sure Bernie will do an equally amazing job with the Regional Rotary Foundation team going forward as well. So that's really great news. So those 3-year plans are so important to us as we move forward, and it'd be great to have you on that team, as you mentioned. So now we're coming to the end of our program. Well, the end of the bit that we talked about, where we talk at you. And as I said earlier, this is now the opportunity for you to say what you think, what you like, and do it in a manner that's knowing that I'm going to be going sit on the beach from July 1st. So relatively speaking, I can tell you what I think. Patrick would be the one that has to be a little more muted at this point in time. But Chris, if I pass over to you, if you want to set this up and go from there. But before I go, can I say thank you all for everything you've done for this amazing organization this year. Rotary is about our members, it's about each of you. Thank you for attending these information calls. Thank you for being you. Thank you for becoming and being Michelle and my friends. And I'm looking forward to really enjoying our Rotary with you as we move forward. And we take this great organization to new heights. Thank you all once again. Chris, over to you.
Thanks so much, Jeremy. That was awesome, as always. And thank you for the opportunity to help out with these sessions for the last year. It's been a great time. As Patrick mentioned, the party is not over. We are continuing our Zoom formations going into 24-25, and the first one will be July 8th. You guys will hear a lot more about that. We have opened up the floor for questions. I ask those to be dropped in chat, but seeing none, we still have about 11-12 minutes that we can entertain questions. If you have questions for any of our directors, outgoing or incoming, or any of the folks that spoke today, now's the time. Let's try to keep it semi-orderly. So if your name's not Jeremy or Patrick, please just raise your hand, in the reaction, and we will call on you in turn. Otherwise, Jeremy and Patrick, you guys have what we hate in TV land, and that is dead air. We need you to fill it. So you guys have at it.
Well, I can tell you, if you think a past district governor can speak, you just imagine what a past area director can do. So never give him the mic. That's for absolutely sure. And I know I'm looking at Robert Hall, looking absolutely shocked there. So I mean, yeah, exactly. So we've taught you in the silence. You don't know what to do now. Come on. Any last thoughts or comments from anyone? Okay, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to boast a little bit on the District 7020 and the Rotary Club of East Nassau. We have a young past president here, Christian Knowles from Rotary Club of East Nassau, who single-handedly put together $1 million dinner. And when I say single-handedly, I know he had a lot of help. He just happens to be the president of a certain trustee chairs club, Rotary Club of East Nassau, as I said, Barry Rassin. And Christian did an amazing job at putting together $1 million dinner, which did, I believe, raise, in fact, $1 million through some Lifetime Society memberships as well as other donations. So I want to give Christian a round of applause for his tremendous leadership. He's a future leader and is going to be doing great things in Rotary. Christian, you there? Have I embarrassed you enough? Okay, good.
Yeah, a little bit. Thank you, Jeremy. Thanks, everybody. I know some of the names on this call, and I actually sent a private message to Jeremy, who gave me the invite as to what am I doing here among all these great Rotarians. But thank you so much. Jeremy's been a good leader in our district, and a good leader in the zones, and we're very proud of him in 7020. Speaking from Barry's club, I'm just very privileged to have been the president the year that we raised $1 million in that dinner. So I know Jeremy couldn't be there, but thank you so much. And thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Christian.
All right, I believe we have a question from Robert. Robert, you have the floor.
Yes, not really a question, but more of a comment. I had the privilege of being 33 and 34 director 26 years ago. It's hard to believe I'm still alive. And when I met John Huco, thank you, Peter. When I met John Huco, he says, "How old were you when you were a director?" I said, "Well, I was still in diapers at the time." And I had the privilege of seeing an organization like I had never seen it before. And from 1998, when I was escorted to the director's chair, to today, we have come so far. And thank you to everyone for everything you've done. And never forget, the most important thing about this organization is your Rotary Club. Thank you.
Bob, could I just recognize you a little bit there? And Bob, I didn't see you on the call earlier. My apologies. So Bob has been constantly in the background, and I know he does this for all directors, incoming directors. Sends us notes of encouragement as we take this role on, and that's really important. It can be quite a lonely place, and as you walk into it, and Bob and those other past directors make it something that's a lot more comfortable for a new director moving in. I know Patrick will reinforce that as well. So Bob, thanks for your service and for being here, and for your continued support. We really appreciate it.
Okay.
There's another Robert. Okay, I was waiting to see.
So I joined Rotary when I was about 25 years old. So I've been here about 80 years, but I've been in 6 clubs, 2 districts, and involved at the international level. And I was so excited about hearing Jeremy and Patrick talk today, because I believe at almost every level, club and up and up and up and up, the biggest inhibitors to growing Rotary, to doing good in the world, is checking your ego at the door. I mean, so many people want to hold on forever and don't realize there's a great new person following us. And so I heard that wonderful with his 3-year plans, with Jeremy saying that Rotary is not a service organization with members, but an organization of members who deliver service. That's critical. And I think the other thing that I heard Patrick say, which resounds with me, that we're have continuity like I've never seen before, just terrific, is that you can't do anything significant in 1 year. And I'm a believer that at the club level, we try to do projects. You can't do a great significant project in 1 year. You just cannot. And so I'm excited to hear where we're going with Patrick, where we've been with Jeremy. Thank you for your leadership. And I think we're on the right path. This Empowering Girls, I knew about it. And I talked to Tina, and I know Elizabeth. I mean, I think this is critical. Looking at RAGs is a way to grow. And RAGs are, like I said, when I headed up this group of RAGs and fellowships is about doing something for me. Wine drinking, sailing, golfing. RAGs are about doing something for others who need us. And so I'm glad to see the significance put on RAGs and moving significant projects forward like Empowering Girls. So thank you a lot, Jeremy, and Patrick. I look forward to working with you. And Cookie, look forward to working with you.
Thank you, Robert. That means a lot coming from you. You've been there, you've done that, and I think we are a continuum. I mean, a lot of the ideas that you brought in, and that David Stovall brought in, Peter Carl, of course, Stephanie bridged the gap there, have been carried forward, and I think we've learned from each other. That's what we've got to do. That continuity is so important, because we're designed almost with a flaw of having discontinuity. I have a couple of people there. We've got Chris, and then we had, I think we saw Lou Mello. And
Jeremy, Lou Mello has a question, so we can give him the floor.
Yeah, and I think John has unmuted himself, John Durham. So I'm assuming you want to say something, John, at some point, but go ahead.
My question is real quick. I was just curious if Patrick or Jeremy have any feedback on the pilot projects for membership going on in the UK and Australia, New Zealand. Any word back from those people?
Yeah, I can sort of fill in that, and Patrick can as well. Real briefly, GBI, Great Britain and Ireland, is taking off really well. It's got support from a funding perspective from the Rotary Board. We've approved the second tranche of reserves that have been invested into it. They have two really novel ideas they're working on. First of all, they have a board for Rotary International Great Britain and Ireland, which doesn't necessarily have to have past district governors on. It has individuals who have professional technical expertise in doing things such as customer acquisition, growing Rotary, other skill sets that are necessary. It's a new approach. Two of the products they've come out with, which I think are really interesting, is one of them, perhaps the most interesting, is their enterprise project, where they're working with corporations for a corporation who's looking for corporate social responsibility opportunities, to take either the whole or a portion of their staff and make them Rotarians on a wholesale basis, and give them Rotary experiences, and then give them the opportunity to either stay in that environment or move to clubs, or move, whether it be e-clubs or actually in-person clubs. So that's really exciting to see if they could do that, an engagement of a corporate level, a totally different perspective. And their hub, which involves a sort of a direct membership for Rotary International Great Britain and Ireland, is also very interesting, where they take people into a sort of virtual hub, find out what ticks their boxes, and then work with them almost on a customer acquisition basis. So those two areas, I think, could potentially lead to some significant turnaround in membership decline and membership growth for Great Britain and Ireland. Zone 8, Patrick, I don't know if you wanted to touch on Zone 8 in Australia, or...
Yeah, well, Zone 8 is really taking a little bit of a different approach, and to be perfectly honest, they are just now completing their planning phase. So they have where Great Britain and Ireland kind of jumped in right away. with implementation, and we're already seeing good results there. Zone 8 has taken a more methodical approach to this, and they're really launching on July 1. So they're 2 weeks from launch. And interestingly, they're more or less handing off from a redesigned organizational group now to a separate implementation group. Not that they aren't working together, but it will be a separate group coming in. So
yeah,
very interested to see what, you know, sometime over the next 6 months, we should start getting some indication of how they're doing.
That's a great opportunity with regional adaptability, is to try different things in different places and learn from them. I mean, I love the idea at some point of trying the enterprise product within our zones to see if we can make it work there. And I know they've learned from some of the things we're doing with the regional plans. So thanks for the question, Lou. Another first-class member or a repeat offender. Chris, you got your hand up.
I will add just real quickly,
sorry.
One of the key members on with Great Britain and Ireland, and a key member in Zone 8 just happened to both be really good friends of mine, and I was able to introduce them in Melbourne. And I saw them again in Singapore, and they are regularly sharing information back and forth, which is exactly what we should be doing, of course, is learning from each other and acknowledging those things that don't go as well, and capitalizing on the areas that are showing early returns. So I'm glad that the two of them are communicating.
Chris.
All right, thanks so much, Jeremy. We're coming to the end.
Did John want to say anything? I know, John, you unmuted yourself, John.
Yeah, my reactions are not working right today, Jeremy. But you know, we thanked Jeremy and y'all and I want to thank him for letting me join you on these ZoomFormations, because they're very, very informative. And I've taken some of this information and passed it on to other zones as I've been visiting them. But be sure you thank the person behind Jeremy, and that's Michelle. So sometimes our spouses don't get the recognition that they deserve. We are continuing on, and I thank you for letting me join you and congratulate you on the great year, but you've got 15 days left. So, Jeremy, don't go to the beach too quick. Patrick, you just keep practicing. I look forward to seeing many of you, if not all of you, in Pittsburgh.
Thanks, John. I think that's the final word. Over to you, Chris.
All right, so thank you so much, Jeremy. Our incoming director is taking some executive privilege and has asked that we all unmute ourselves and take us out with singing happy birthday to one Cookie Billings. So I'm going to spotlight this young lady, and if we could sing her out happy birthday. We'll leave the deck open for a couple more minutes if anybody needs to stay on after that, but this will be the conclusion of our last 23-24 ZoomFormation.